So for this video, I'm going to show you the 3 different ways to make the hitch magnet. So we're going to start with our part file, and it's going to be standard, not sheet metal. And now we're going to click Create. Alright, so we're first going to start with our 2D sketch, not 3D. We're going to click on our XY plane, and we could use the circle tool. For this dimension, it's going to be this one right here. That is a diameter of 0.45. Alright, and I'm going to finish the sketch and extrude to a depth of 0.25, so 1/4 inch. So right now what I have is kind of like just a cylinder, and now we're going to put in a hole using the hole tool. But before we can do that, we're going to do a sketch, and we're going to place a point. So the reason for this sketch and the point, and now we're going to click Finish Sketch. So the reason for the sketch and the point is for our hole tool to actually find that point and find it immediately. And it just happens to be that our default diameter in Autodesk Inventor is the exact number we want it to be. So we want it to be 0.25. And we can just click OK. So that's our part. That's kind of it. So I'm going to show you 2 more ways to make this part. So I'm going to do File, New, and remember when you're making this, you only have to make 1, not 3 like I'm doing. I'm just making 3 so you can kind of see what's going on, and I'm not quite sure what the error is that keeps popping up. I just had to reinstall everything, so I should probably figure that out later. Alright, so again, we're going to do Start 2D Sketch. This one's a little bit faster because instead of using the hole tool, what we're going to do is just create 2 circles. So again, our large diameter over here is going to be 0.45, and then we can hit Enter on our keyboard. And then I'm going to put another circle in here, so I'm going to cut the hole out at the same time when I extrude. So this is going to be our smaller diameter. So this one is 0.25. And now we can finish sketch and extrude. So right now you can kind of see how before it extruded automatically, and now Autodesk doesn't know which one to pick. So you need to make sure you pick out the outside ring. And always the default's going to be 1 inch no matter what you're doing. So you need to change that to our actual depth. So our actual depth right here is 0.25. Alright, so that is the second way to do this. And a third way, I'm going to show you how to use the Revolve Tool. So now I'm going to go to File, New, Standard again. And we're going to start our sketch. I'm going to do it on the XY plane. And this time I'm actually going to use the rectangle tool. So this is going to look a little weird when I'm placing it in. And now what I'm going to do is use the line tool. I'm going to use it as a construction line and a center line. The reason why I want to do that is to make sure that this is going to be our actual center line, and then it's going to be a construction line because I don't want the program to think of it as an actual shape or line. So we're going to go from our origin. You can see how we have the yellow dot, now we have a green dot, and I'm going to go straight up. The length of this doesn't really matter. All we're using this for is to dimension to it. So what we can do is click on this line, click on our center line, and you can see how we have this dimension that has a diameter. The reason for that is because we originally made it a center line. If we didn't make it a center line, then it would just pop up with a dimension just going half of it, and you'd have the radius, not the diameter. So now I'm going to add in the dimension. Let's see, this is the inside one, so right here. So 1/4 inch. And now I'm going to add my outside dimension for our larger diameter. Okay, so that's here again. Size 0.45. Alright, you can see that we still have some green lines. Those are unconstrained. So I want to constrain those, and those are going to be for the depth of our hitch magnet. So we have right here a 1/4 inch for the depth, so I'm going to put that in here. Alright, and right now it's not connected to the bottom. So you can see how this kind of moves up and down. Yep. So do I really need to put in this next dimension? Not really, but you can see how it's locking kind of everything in place. And I'm just going to click over on our 0.25 for our depth to make it the same. And there we go. So what I can do here now is click on Revolve. And if you didn't put in that center line and just left it as a construction line, you'd actually have to select it over here for the axis, and then it would revolve around. And or if you have multiple shapes, you'd have to do profile and then click on what you want to revolve. Click OK, and that is another way to do your part. So let's see, we have 3 parts. They all look the same. Just this bottom one is at a slightly different angle, but it won't really matter for your project. All right, so good luck. And remember, you only have to do one of these, not all 3.